there we go. It is a beautiful Sunday. Hello there. May the 4th is upon us as we reach closer into these light speed days. But hey, man, let me get you started. Just realize educate. But yeah, if you haven't had a chance to go check out Star Wars, that was kind of a cool minute. It's been generations, I guess. 2 of them to be exact. We finally got that portrait. It was just a nice thing to see. Like as a longtime Star Wars nerd or whatever, it's nice to see that we're getting back there. There we go. Alright, cool. But as always, it's a Sunday. We're here to have fun. We're here to learn. I'm excited about the Star Wars over at Fortnite. That's going to be one of those interesting things to look at. But like we are here to vibe, celebrate, and chill. And yes, it is a Sunday. It is April 27th. We're so close to May. And that might be cool. It's starting to get warm out there, but apparently it started raining, so just never assume, right? At the end of the day, you never know what's gonna happen. So it's best just to do your best and just to be kind of prepared for stuff. So with all that being said, we're gonna go fun today. This is gonna be a hard one. I'm gonna try. And yeah, we're just gonna enjoy the moment. So strap in. Have fun. And let's go. I had no idea what to do after that one. But hey, no, in that little interlude, that was kind of nice. But what if I told you I can't sing this next one or I can't sing this next one if I don't sing it now? So that being said, I don't think we're gonna hit it on the strings, hence all that. But if we're in the mood, I'd like to really try a classic. Onegaishimasu. Whew. Wow! There goes my Valentine again, as something red and what she said. And now she's gone, and I lose it again. There's a post and I'm driving it, and I can't hear it in my head. It's a switch that I flip and it's cut to black. I don't wanna feel my heart is breaking to black. I don't wanna see my life is burning. I saw you look away. What I've seen too much to take, or are you bleeding and in nothing? Saw you run away. What I've done too much to take, or are you bleeding? Said I'm nothing. It's staying on my head and it's red. Oh my God, am I losing it? And I can't wait to help what I say. It's a button to push and they got the. I don't wanna feel my heart is breaking. Cut to a fly. I don't wanna see my life and burning. I saw you look away. It's what I've seen too much to take. You're blind and then see nothing. Saw you run, I saw you run away. What I've done too much to take, or are you feeling dead of nothing? You got it, Lee. I saw you run away. It's what I've done too much to take. But you plead, I see nothing. Saw you run away. It's what I've done too much to take. But I see nothing. Woo! God, I'm sweating. Oh God. So, the fun part about that is that there's two people singing. But if you try, and if you look into the guitar parts, you can maybe figure that one out. But yes, those two. Woo. Woo. I don't know. Do we ever get any more saltier songs these days, or is it just all mellow? Think about it. But in the meantime, it's news time, baby. So we're gonna say goodbye to the homie. Catch you guys towards the end of the side. And let's enjoy some news of the week. He's just a poor boy. and in a galaxy far, far away. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Star Wars month, isn't it? I believe the celebrations happen in Japan, but the Americans, now this is where the party happens. Because I just realized they're like singing in the background. But Star Wars creator George Lucas has revealed the ingenious reason Yoda speaks backwards. Japanese. Speak English regularly, people won't listen much. Got it. This is my next standoff over at the Games Radar Film Snarts. He's the wisest, most respected Jedi in the galaxy. But after the initial meeting, it sure takes a while for you to get the grips with how Master Yoda talks. The legendary Jedi who met Luke Skywalker, in 1980s, has like many other, that's 45 years ago, like many other characters in the franchise, became an icon, with one notable highlight between his distinctive dialogue, perfectly jumbling up sentences like he threw them in a swamp and dragged them back out again. Now, Star Wars creator George Lucas has given a clear explanation as to why Yoda speaks that way. He does. Pay attention, you must. Clear everything will be. Okay. While attending the 16th class film festival and showing The Empire Strikes Back, yes, still the best Star Wars film ever, facts, Lucas broke down his reasoning for Yoda's unique dialogue, which sets him apart from other characters. Quote, if you speak regular English, people won't listen that much, he explained. Quote, but if he had an accent where it's really hard to understand what he's saying, they focus on what he's saying. Unquote. It was an ingenious move that helped the small pea green colored wizard stand out from the crowd, particularly among younger audiences. Quote, he was basically the philosopher of the movie, quote, Lucas revealed. Quote, I had to figure out a way to get people to actually listen, especially 12-year-olds, end quote. Nice. Thankfully, the code was cracked, and now the rest of is history from a long time ago in galaxy far, far away. The only question now is, will the other notable Yoda-looking character have a similar speech pattern? Since their debut in The Mandalorian, fans have wondered just what Grogu will sound like when he says his first words to Din Djarin. What? Din Djarin. Pedro Pascal. Anyways. It's still a topic that showrunner Jon Favreau has yet to discuss. Last year, executive producer Dave Filoni revealed that it was something that was definitely discussed, given that the little scamp is actually pushing 50 years old. Quote, I'll leave all that stuff to Jon, really. I'm very protective of the character as far as being Jon's brainchild. Literally, Filoni told Insider. Quote, I advise and obviously have been a big part of that creation. Quote, just as Yoda swapping his words around makes him who he is, giving Grogu a voice of his own could also have a massive impact on the pointy-eared little cherub as well. Quote, we talk about how much that would change him, or how much do we change him? Filoni explained. We really like how he is. It's hard. It's a great question. It's definitely something we think about, and I think it depends on how much farther we go forward. I don't know. End quote. That all could change now that The Mandalorian and Grogu are set to return this time to the big screen on May 22nd, 2026. Perhaps the big movies could finally see him and have him say a few, see him have a few things to say. Besides that, though, here's why we think stuff. Good job. Interesting. I always thought it was just kind of like the Japanese orientation. Things are kind of reversed. But, I mean, it also kind of makes sense if you're doing that. And it's arguably a better way to write that. But then the question does does he not know how to speak grammar, or is he so smart that he chooses to ignore grammar? Well, I mean, it is how he goes. So, yeah, respect to the man who's been putting in words. And yeah, I seen him flip around in CGI yesterday. Oof. That movie holds up, dog. All right. You know what else holds up? Science fiction. Because Split Fiction is getting a film adaptation starring Sydney Sweeney and directed by Wicked's director. What? Okay. I guess that kind of makes sense. Deadpool and Wolverine are also working on the script. There you go. It's by Chris Scolton over at the Video Games Chronicles. Sheesh. Latest video game to be earmarked According to Variety, a live-action movie based on Hazel Lights Studios' co-op action-adventure game is now in the works and will star Sydney Sweeney. Wow. The movie will reportedly be directed by John M. Chu, who recently directed Wicked. The script, meanwhile, is currently being worked on by Rhett Reese and Paul Wenerick, who are screenwriters on Deadpool and Wolverine. Split Fiction will be produced by Story Kitchen, formerly DJ2 Entertainment, a media company that specializes in adapting video games to film and TV. Whoa, okay. The company previously worked on Sonic the Hedgehog movies and have been involved in upcoming projects based on It Takes Two, Just Cause, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, Toe Jam and Roll, and among others. Damn. That's pretty based. Let's keep that name out. Variety reports saying that it's yet to be confirmed which of the game's two protagonists, Joe and Mio, will be played by Sweeney. Yeah, it's obviously the blonde one, dude. Come on. In the film version. Earlier, the game was also announced that Sweeney is involved in the upcoming Outrun movie to be directed by Michael Bay. She won't be starring in that one. However, will be instead talking on a producer's role in the Universal produced take on Sega's classic arcade racer. What? Producer role. So that just means she's hanging out with Michael Bay. So, I mean, okay. Alright, I'm going to hold on to that one. Split Fiction is the latest game directed by Joseph Ferris. It sold over 1 million copies in 48 hours. According to its publisher, Electronic Arts, the game, which is played entirely in co-op, follows two writers as they play through levels based on stories that they have attempted to get published. Split Fiction is visually streets ahead of its predecessors, It Takes Two, but mechanically, the two games are very similar. Quote, Split Fiction review states, the game is occasionally in danger of verging into repetitive territory with constant shifting between two environments, but its healthy selection of varied side stories and constant changing mechanics ensure its gameplay remains engaging and entertaining throughout, even if the same can't be said about its story. There you go. So we're going back to the saga of Hollywood wants video games, money, and that's what that does. Here's the thing, though. Is she a good actor? and like she's been in the news of just fucking like honing in on video game projects, which sure, I get it, go get your bag or whatever, but it's like it's all we didn't even it's just okay, let's start from here. Outrun, movie to be directed by Michael Bay. She won't be starring that one, however, she'll be instead taking the producer's table in a role at the Universal produced take on Sega's classic arcade racer. So she's just there to hang out with Michael Bay, quote unquote, and she's gonna learn stuff about like being in video game movies with people and all that stuff. And it's just like it just all sounds so. Let me go ahead and answer that. I don't. What? Okay. How about this? That. Great acting. This. Clearly a lot of plot. And it's just like, what part of like video game is this? You know, like, and I get it. You're cool. You want to make your bag and you want to get the thingy, but like, it just tells me like what we're going for and what angle we're like what video games mean to the Hollywood industry. And it's not like we don't know. It's not like we don't see it coming, but it's still, I thought we'd have more time, you know? But fucking S-class actors over here wanna fucking make money, and we'll go from there. So it could be whatever it needs to be, you know. Fucking Mr. Transformers out there trying to make money off of he's done with the Hasbro games. Now he's jumping over to video games. So it's like, I'm not saying you can't get a good Transformers movie, but you know, when you're slapping on a person who doesn't even like, who has just been in the news cycle of being like, oh, I want to make a video game movie. I'm gonna. So what video games do you play? You know, it's like, dude, it's just bad. It just tastes bad taste in my mouth. And like, let's have good actors before selling the poster. You know what I mean? Because I go to films or I go to movies and I like to sit down and I like to feel something. And, you know, it doesn't always have to be something that freaking life-threatening or changing. But even then, I just saw Until Dawn, and like, while that is clearly a liberated take on the Until Dawn game, it was, no one was expecting a lot from it. I don't know if a lot of people were expecting too much from it. This just makes me feel like we're just gonna keep on shoveling crap hardware. And it could be good, it could be bad. I just hope that people actually try to put in effort onto it, because if this homeboy comes by and starts like shoveling crapware, and then we have to lose these guys from being cool, then it's just gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be a long road to get there. But if we just go ahead and start shoveling shitware because, oh, Sydney Sweeney is fucking looks good in a dress, wow, let's put her in the fucking game. It's not what I want video game movies to be, but it's not my say, so what the fuck do I care, you know what I mean? However, if video games adaptations aren't doing it for you, you already know, baby. Anime's got your back. Easy. It's Dun Dun Dun, second anime season, first promo, streamed with English subtitles. Yeah, buddy. G-Kids began streaming English subtitle first promotional video on Saturday for second season of television anime of Yobi no Tatsu's Dun Dun Dun, paranormal mystery battle and romantic comedy manga. G-Kids will screen Dun 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 Evil Eye, a theatrical premiere of the second season in North America on June 6th. The theatrical premiere will screen in Asia outside of Japan on May 30th. Woo! Science Art for Muse in Europe on June 7th from 8 a.m. The season will debut on television on July 3rd and air on MBS and TBS in Super Animators and Turbo programming block. Nice. Crunchyroll will stream it as it airs. Fuga Yamashiro and Abella Gongora are both credited and directors in the new season at Science Saru, and the new season will feature returning class Matsumi Tamamura, who will play Evil Eye Joshi. The first season premiered in Japan October 3rd on TBS and MES Super Animes and Super Purple Black. Loopflex began streaming the anime worldwide on October 3rd. Crunchyroll also streamed the series, and the series had 12 episodes. Alright, so you don't have to watch it through Netflix, but you could definitely watch Dun Dun Dun. And all these cool people from Science Saru. I freaking love Science Saru. So good stuff. That's all we're really looking at. What I got excited about is that there's continuing to do the theatrical premieres of the season premieres. So something kind of interesting out there. If you've ever gone to the anime cons, Anime Expo, a couple of like the more expo-y or like let's call it business industry focused cons, then you know that they like to premiere these episodes, or like they like to premiere episode 1 or whatever block you want to throw out there. If people like G-Kids, and if distributors like I don't know, Sony, I guess, and Crunchyroll, as long as they don't get too potato with it, but if they decide to start, you know, doing that in theaters as they have been, obviously, I've seen a lot of anime movies in theaters, good stuff. It just means that they're allowing a separate set of public interest to help fund development of that series. So hypothetically, that is great news, and we're going more into this angle. The homie and I were talking about it yesterday about where we're at in the state of anime, and where we see kind of like the interest, where we see people kind of cutting corners, where we see kind of how the quality is not as, let's say, detailed or as exaggerated as we were used to back in the 2000s, the 2010s. I think that was kind of like the peak of the design era, because that was where hand-drawn animation and things got very detailed. And as we're now in the digital age, it gets easier to kind of cut corners. But seeing them find another angle to not cut the corners, but fund those ambitious moves, as things are maybe more expensive to produce now, then we see them come up with smart, fair, and amusing ways to bring this to the theaters. And then that gives more people a chance to see it. That gives more of a way to fund these projects, and it makes it fair, right? It's like helping each other out to produce these things. So hey, I like the way it's been going. Let's get that free rent in there. Ooh, you can see her on the big screen, Dio. But before that, get this shit. Netflix is saving Hollywood. CEO considers going to the theater, quote, an outmodel idea for most people, end quote. This is by Lex Briscuso. Nice. That's a nice name. Over at IGN. Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos has claimed that the streamer is, quote, saving Hollywood, and believes that theater going is an, quote, an outdated model for most people, quote. At the Time 100 Summit this week, Sarandos was adamant that despite production leaving Los Angeles in droves, the drastic downsizing of the theatrical window, the rapid deterioration of the theatrical experience from an audience perspective, and middling box office returns from a number of films, Netflix is the white knight of the industry. Quote, no, we're saving Hollywood, he explained to the audience at a convention, adding that the streamer is a, quote, very consumer-focused company, end quote. He added, quote, we delivered the program to you in a way you want to watch it, end quote. The second time. Serrano says commented the downturn of box office sales. Quote, what the consumer is trying to sell us, he asked. What is the consumer trying to sell us? What? Commented on the downturn of box office sales. He asked, rhetorically, quote, that they like to watch movies at home. That's a fucking stretch, you dumbass. Interestingly enough, he also made sure to showcase his love for going to the theater, but not without also downplaying the experience as a whole. Quote, I believe it's an outdated idea for most people, he said. Quote, not for everybody. It's fine. It should come as a no surprise the CEO of streaming services to end all streaming services would hold these kinds of opinions. After all, it's in the company's best interest to push streaming service above cinema going. Yeah, no shit. Hollywood struggles are well documented. Family movies like Inside Out 2 and video game adaptations like a Minecraft movie appear to be propping up the business, with even Marvel movies, once guaranteed billion-dollar blockbusters, now hit and miss. But it's going to cinema now old-fashioned? Last year, legendary actor Willem Dafoe said people watch films differently, now at home rather than at cinemas, which are closing down. Quote, which is tragic, because that kind of attention that people give at home isn't the same, Dafoe said. There you go. Quote, more difficult movies, more challenging movies can not do it as well. When you don't have an audience that's really paying attention, that's a big thing. I miss the social thing of where movies would fit in the world. You would go see a movie, you'd go out dinner, and you'd talk about it later, and that spreads out. You would now go home. They say, hey honey, let's watch something stupid tonight. And I flip through and they watch 5 of 10 movies, and they say, forget it, let's go to bed. Where's that discourse found? Okay. Back in 2022, acclaimed filmmaker Steven Soderbergh shared his thoughts on the future of movie theaters and how cinema habits could continue to live on in the age of streaming. He said that while there's, quote, still an appeal, the industry's future lies in convincing young audiences to keep attending as they grow older. Oof. Never mind, it's over, guys. It's over. Soderbergh, who is known for his Ocean's 11 series, amongst other Hollywood hits, considered how movie theaters and streaming services can continue to coexist. He identified programs and engagements as 2 key areas that need careful consideration in order to keep cinema going experience alive. Quote, I think people still want to go out, quote, Soderbergh said, acknowledging the reasons behind his trip to the box office. Quote, there's still an appeal to seeing a movie in the theaters. It's still a great destination, and it really depends. I think on our ability to attract, to convince, and the older audiences continue to come out. It has nothing to do with windowing the term for the amount or the time left between theaters and home releases. Well, that's a statement. And here are the facts. Or here's the opinions. Interesting. So, obviously, I don't know about... Okay, so production is a thing, right? It takes money to make a movie. It takes money to hire people. It takes money to buy camera, buy films. It takes money to freaking hire everybody who drives all the stupid cars that push people around. And obviously, your average Joe is not going to be like, yo, dog, I'm going to make a movie. And it's just going to hit AMC. Like, it's going to be fucking like, this shit, dog. That doesn't work. Obviously, you need to work with the system, though as fucked up as it is, to produce, to promote, to get in with the freaking wigs and like get in their little stupid circle and go and do all the bullshit. And then you can probably like produce it and like actually post your movie. So to say that we're gonna keep on having cinema, yes, I will call it cinema, is probably not true. I think it is gonna be like a dying art. Unfortunately, like less and less people are gonna have that kind of like ambition and like that drive, and it will be more of a niche thing. So they're not wrong. It's a dying art, like a lot of arts. Just think about all the creative shit that's not happening these days. That's by design. And where they're wrong is that people want to go to a theater, right? People want to sit and see their favorite films on the big screen. We're coming off of Star Wars Episode 3. That shit was packed. People had their lightsabers. Everybody was vibing. We're coming from Hatsune Miku. That shit was packed. Everybody had their light sticks. People were vibing. We're coming from Princess Mononoke. That shit was an IMAX. It was packed. I cried. So you can't tell me that people don't want to go do this. What the quote-unquote consumer is selling you fucking idiots, is that your shit isn't worth our time. We don't have money to just fucking throw around like you would expect to. We're not gonna fucking do what you need us to do to keep on paying your fucking service bill, even though we pay monthly, even though they fucking keep on bumping up the prices. But what that does is that it also numbs people out, right? You get used to seeing mediocre. You get used to producing the bare minimum, and you get used to just staying at home and not like making a moment out of it. Yes, you can. You could probably like get some ice cream and like make a motive out of watching Twilight with your whatever wife at the moment. But it's not the same as choosing to go out there, seeing your walking into the dark lit room, and seeing your either your favorite film or something that is inspiring those same emotions from a new inspired narrative. There's nothing like going into that room and seeing everything just light up and vibing with the speakers and all that. Yes, you can make your own theater at home, but it's still not the same as being in a room full of people waving their lightsabers. Right? So the consumers aren't selling you shit. Stop fucking looking at us like a stupid fucking price bag. You already take our data, you already fucking take everything we have, so fuck off. Our time is not for sale. Except for when we work. We choose to give it when we do. And if I choose to go watch Star Wars in a theater, it's because I know my homegirl Wanda will be at the entrance greeting me, It's because I know which rooms I enjoy to sit in. It's because I know where my favorite spots in those theaters are. That's all there is to it. So I pay my dues, and I do it because I care. So get better. Learn how to actually write narratives that inspire people. Stop stealing everything, Netflix. God damn it. Because many physical Switch 2 games don't contain the game at all. Gasp. This is by Zach Swain. Over it. Go talk it. There's singing, isn't he? Son of a fucking potato. Why do you guys fucking hate me like that? Alright, as pre-orders for Switch 2 went live earlier this week, we started to learn about many of the post-launch games. I was going to try to sing this, but I couldn't do it with the guitar. That will be available next time. Will be available for Nintendo's next big console, and it turns out that a lot of physical Switch 2 games are game key card cards, which rather than actually contain the game card cartridge, require an internet connection, download, and play. This fact has upset many who feel it will make them hard to preserve and play games in years to come. Shit. Earlier this month, after Nintendo officially revealed the Switch 2s via a big direct presentation dedicated to the console, we learned a lot more of it. And one of the most controversial pieces of it that we discovered was that some of the physical games on Switch 2 won't actually be physical games. Instead, players will get an essential blank game key card that acts as DRM. Once you put that card in Switch 2, you can then download and play the game. And if you want to play it later, you have to put the card back in. Lose that card and you're screwed. But you can play the game offline as long as the card inserted. That's fucking stupid. They're just like pushing retailers out like by force. This is some fucking Saudi Arabia shit. I'll say it. Fuck you. Some players say that this is better than the way some Switch 2 games shift with just a digital code in box. So I guess that's true. But then you can fucking play the game when you lose the fucking card. And I guess that's true. These game cards can be traded to other players or sold and used over and over. Game key cards can be traded to other players or sold and used over and over. But others point out that it's just a digital game that now needs more plastic ways to be sold and used. And what happens when servers are shut down one day? Will that 20-year-old copy game you still love be playable? Probably not, considering that of the big three, Nintendo has a worse track record of keeping digital storefronts up and running. Go try and buy a Wii U or 3DS digital game. So naturally, people have been digging through some store listings to try and nail down what games are and aren't using game key cards. Here's Kotaku's list so far. You'll notice that all Nintendo's first-party titles, like that new Donkey Kong game, are shipping on physical card. Meanwhile, a lot of third-party publishers are using game key cards that are also few games whose stats currently we don't know. We'll update the list as more games are announced, and we'll learn more ahead of Switch 2 Steam launch. Okay, let me see. Tetris, Generations, Rough, Assassinations. Confirm on the cart. Cyberpunk, Ayo. Seasons, Kirby, Mario. Currently unknown. Something. Split Fiction. Okay, well, that's your list right there. That's interesting. So let me go ahead and recalibrate, because this means something different to me now. Essentially, these carts are still gonna have like all the licensing synced up to the actual cart. So as long as you have that cart, you can hypothetically let your friends play it or whatever. But that gets very fucking annoying, man. I don't know if we're gonna be able to share it like that without doing that stupid Nintendo Switch share game bullshit that they've been implementing, which kind of now makes sense as to why this is all like this. But again, the whole point of it comes like, yo, if you're not gonna have data, the actual data on the card disk, then what's the joke? What are we doing here? Because yeah, like they say 5, 10, 20 years from now, you want to have those physical cartridges. My end game for all this bullshit is that when it all ends or whatever, like, you will have those preserved consoles with their respective libraries. That needs to go on. And having this be just a download keycard makes that harder for that long run. But I believe at the end of the day, the biggest issue is that Nintendo doesn't want to have their games pirated anymore. So they're probably not doing the data in the cards for that specific reason. However, but then you go down to the bullshit that it is Nintendo putting all their thingies here and giving most of the third parties the opportunity to make this a game key card, which is also kind of interesting. It kind of makes sense because then that means that Nintendo can actually produce the game key cards and not force the other people to make that happen. So it makes it, I think, easier for the third-party developers to put more games on the Switch. But actually, that's kind of relevant because all they have to do is just make it digital. Anyways, it's a little bit of good and it's a little bit of bad on both sides. I don't like it at the end of the day, but I do like that at least Nintendo is still trying to keep up with it. So that says a lot to me, and thank God for Cyberpunk 2027 for being cool, and I will look into that one. But that is your Switch 2 update of the week, man. It's getting rough out there. Things are dangerous. I fucked up so hard. I was awake, I was up, I was doing work and stuff, and then I did the retrograded math, and I did it wrong. I subtracted 2 hours from the Eastern time rather than 3, and by the time I realized my error, it was like 8:13. So by then it was no go. But I was on those sites around that time, like pre-gaming. So that's what makes it even more stupid. But anyways, at the end of the day, we'll see. We'll have to just see. We'll just have to observe it. But hey, let's talk about what it means for the future. Digital stuff, right? Not great. But why? Quote, we're living in an era of pretty M-ups, but Clear Obscure isn't one. This is by Andrew King over at The Gamer. Many AAA games are too pretty for their own good. Clear Obscure Expedition 33 isn't one of them, though it's very pretty. Big budget games are facing many problems right now. From the rise of generative AI, out of control budgets, swollen schedules, and lack of clear path forward on monetization. The biggest creative problem facing AAA games is that from the rise of generative AI, out of control budgets, biggest creative problem facing is that many feel like the theme park rides you've guided through, not worlds you're free to explore. Let's tentatively call these games pretty mups. I actually kind of like that. The pretty mup problem. In games like God of War Ragnarok, Callisto Protocol, Final Fantasy XVI, and Dragon Age Veilguard, there's one route through the level with little or no flexibility in how you proceed. I actually kind of like that. You're funneled along until you reach combat encounter, a puzzle, or falling tree to lift with a companion. Then you hop right back into the funnel. The level doesn't exist to be explored. It exists to shuttle you from the objective to objective. I don't dislike all of those games. God of War Ragnarok made my Game of the Year list in 2022, after all. But they represent a worrying trend in game design. It's the end point of the pursuit of graphics, as an end in itself, instead of streaming up interesting levels with interesting objectives. To give players a narrow track to run along with occasional hurdle in front in the form of combat. The only thing they have to do is offer a nice scenery. You've changed! Whoa. There are different forms of linearity and linearity. In and of itself isn't a bad thing. A game like the original Doom is linear in the sense that it has a sequence of levels that you must complete to finish the campaign. Its campaign, but inside those levels you have a great design of freedom in where you go first, and which secrets you find, or other whether you find them at all. Similarly, Super Mario 64 is a linear sense that these are the gates that prevent you from advancing further until you collect a proper number of stars. But any given level is open-ended, dropping you in and letting you run around to your heart's content. You can play in each subsection in whatever order you want. That's radically different from many modern games, which offer little to do but running between combat encounters. Clear Obscure AAA game. At first, I was worried that Clear Obscured might feel the same. It's certainly very pretty and story-focused, a hallmark of pretty M-ups. These pre-release footage of the game had a lot of shots of demoers walking through the canyon like areas while sweeping the camera across the sky, Once I actually got to explore, you realize it was possible to get into the world past the twist down. You meant to go up and down, blah, 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 blah. Okay, sorry, I just realized we have a lot to do. Feels strange to you, blah, blah. Skills, space, blah, 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 blah. Clear stress, clearly specific world, and its opening makes you eager to explore it on other rails. Really nice feeling. I'm glad obscure gives me freedom to see it pretty on my terms. I just jumped through all that. Okay, sorry about that, my dude. I have realized I put a lot of things on the dock. So interesting take. Past when I need to go back down. I thought I reached the checkpoint. Realized I don't go. Turn around. I was actually back where I started exploring. And in fact, common fields both strategic and active. World maps, navigating. Okay, keep your butt. You're not prepared. And if it says spawn, the rest of the campsite. More into hyperlane games. I'm tired of playing. Okay. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited because the game is in the mill. In order, like, let's connect the last story. I had to buy The World Ends With You on Switch, the final mix or whatever it's called, because I bought that game, and then my nephews were around, and then the game disappeared. So I wrote that one off as a loss. And finally, after years of finally doing it, I purchased the game through GameStop. I got the game, it's in the mail, and I actually picked up this game, Clear Obscure, through GameStop as well. So that is coming in the mail, and I believe it arrives Tuesday. So Wednesday, Tuesday-ish, we might be playing this game. I've heard good things about it. I'm very excited, and we'll see how it ends up. But hey, looking forward to playing that. We'll see what he's talking about when they say open world areas. I don't necessarily like getting lost in games, but if it's designed well enough for me to take notes of what we're doing, and I think we'll be fine. So hey, look forward to that. And one final thing is that last week I mentioned that, like, I did feel that loss of interest in games. Like, games have been interesting recently in terms that some of them have just really felt empty, and that's just the easiest way to describe that. I'm thinking like Assassin's Creed had everything it needed to be a fun, decent game, and I'm not saying that it wasn't, but something about like just how copy and pasted the castles felt, and just how like uninspired like it felt to live in that place. It just really made me feel like disappointment, and that's actually why we quit that game like 2 episodes in. So I think I understand where that's coming from, what they're saying about that, but at the same time, it's I do like a certain good narrative where we're going through the level 1, level 2, level 3. I don't mind that at all, actually. I would much actually prefer having people be like, all right, here we go, this next one's a bigger challenge, and like me understanding that, like, all right, we're just gonna keep on going, we're gonna keep on hyping it up, and I respect that kind of respect, that equal respect given to the player and to the developer. So hey, let's look forward to that. Yeah, because something to not look forward to. Discord founder steps down as CEO and will be replaced by former Activision Blizzard vice chairman. Founder of Discord has announced that he will be stepping down as CEO next week. This is by Chris Colton over at Video Games Chronicle. In a message sent to Discord employees this week, Jason Creton, who founded and launched Discord 10 years ago, announced that as of April 28th, Humam Saknini would be replacing him as CEO. Creton will continue to be a member of Discord's board of directors, and will also take on a new role as advisor to CEO. However, Skahini who was previously chief strategy at Activision Blizzard, working on a series of World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, will be the person to lead Discord to what Sirius calls its quote, next chapter of growth, and will someday become a public company. Shit. Saknini was also CFO and later president of King, before becoming vice chairman of Activision Blizzard until December 2023. Quote, as we enter the next phase, I've been reflecting on how we can best contribute to Discord's long-term success, Creton told his staff in a message. The job of CEO is constantly evolving, and over the years I have continuously hired myself out of a job. Usually that means delegating work and then taking on different leadership challenges. However, as I look as to what is needed of Discord CEO over the next few years, I realize that it's time for me to literally hire myself out of a job. Concluding, I can thank staff for their dedication, belief, and hard work for over the years. The stories we tell, the products we create, and programs we run, all of it is a result of all your passion and energy. He added, you are what makes Discord what it is today because you give it a shit about our customers and your craft. I believe this evolution sets us up for even greater success for years to come. End quote. Sheesh. There you go. That's a nice way to go out. Quote, Discord stands as a massive foundational part of gaming ecosystem that millions of players, developers, and publishers rely on every day. What Jason and Discord co-founder of the CTO Stan Vyheskineski have built is truly remarkable. A platform with undeniable product market fit where hundreds of millions of people connect around their passions for gaming and shared interest. Quote, I look forward to working with Stan and Discord's talented team to scale our business while staying true to the company's core mission and special connection it has with player communities. We're still at the beginning of the gaming's impact on entertainment and culture, and Discord is perfectly positioned to play a central role in that future. End quote. Wow. Okay. Well, that's something. We've heard about the Discord changing pieces and becoming something different. What different means, we didn't really have any idea, but having this Activision guy being hired kind of gives more an idea. What does that tell me? Call of Duty skins. Real talk. Monetization. So I don't know. I'm not a big Discord guy. I know some people use it up the ass, and that ain't me, Chief. I never really understood like how to use it to its potential or whatever. But if things are gonna change there, and maybe it becomes something that includes a bit more, or maybe it's something more of what I'm looking for in a kind of a productive application, then maybe it can be something cool. And I hope it does. You know, here's to always hoping for the better foundations, better like developments, and for the people to be able to empower the people. So hopefully if they do that without slapping on the stupid ass Call of Duty priced upgrades price stamp, then we can look forward to something cool, right? But time will tell. Just like this Webtoon Entertainment partners with PlayStation to launch cross-platform subscription campaign. What does that mean? Fuck if I know. This is Won-hee Cho over at Anime News Network. Webtoon Entertainment announced on Tuesday that it has entered the marketing partnership with PlayStation starting on Tuesday. PlayStation Plus Premium's users gain access to Webtoon subscriptions on the platform's English language service, really. In return, Webtoon subscribers, particularly readers of titles like Omniscient Reader, Bad More Blood, and Red Blood New York, is Session receive 2 complimentary weeks of PlayStation Plus. Eesh, that's nothing. The initiative aims to create a two-way engagement funnel, introducing gamers to Webtoons and guiding Webtoons to fans into the gaming ecosystems, especially for series with strong game-like world building. This marks another step in Webtoons Entertainment's ongoing collaborations with the gaming industry. In January 2025, the company partnered with Japanese game developer Capcom to host a Webtoon contest inspired by Monster Hunter Wilds universe. The contest was part of Webtoon's branded contest program, which connects creators with official brand partners. US-based creators can submit entries to Webtoon's platform, choosing from 3 prompts inspired by the Monster Hunter universe. Prompts are available on Webtoon's Entertainment website. Whoa. And Sony continues to domineer every fucking market entertainment revenue they can. So now you can add Webtoon comics to fucking Sony's revenue streams. Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't think originally something like this, but I guess if you really just step back and like take egoism out of it, obviously the anime fans are going to be interested in the Korean comics, and if we've had great success with the anime games, especially on Sony's side, I'm thinking of the PS Vita days with all those fucking imports, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, then yeah, we can have another generation of that like growth, but with Korean culture and economics, let's say. At the end of the day, they're just making money moves, which is fine, obviously. But well, it's what happens afterwards that makes things uncomfortable. If they choose to grow to be something that like helps inspire each other and maybe create better games, or maybe do I'm thinking of Stellar Blade, how that is a Korean company, and how they can share more culture and information and development ideas with Sony. But hey man, maybe I'm just being a little bit too ambitious. But hey, put it on the books. That means I can get a free premium users gain access to Webtoon subscription. There you go. So I gotta go sign up for that shit now. So they got me. So look forward to that Webtoon review. But not before we talk about Switch 2 launch. Pre-order launch. Switch 2 chaos in Japan as my Nintendo Switch store buckles under weight of users desperate to find out if they won pre-lottery adventures. And now scammers are taking advantage. This is by Verity Townsend. What? For Nintendo fans in Japan, April 24th, 2025 is a big day. When Nintendo sets revealed just who had been lucky enough to get the chance to snap up a Switch 2 via official My Nintendo Store pre-orders. But not only was Nintendo forced to shut down the My Nintendo Store website for maintenance due to too much traffic, it also issued a warning about phishing emails mimicking official Switch 2 pre-order lottery results. Back on April 2nd, Nintendo started accepting applications for a Switch 2 pre-order lottery in Japan. Winners of the lottery were able to purchase a Switch 2 from My Nintendo Store to be delivered at launch on June 5th. According to President, around 2.2 million in Japan entered the pre-sale lottery. Demand exceeded the company's expectation, and meaning entrants had their hopes of obtaining the console and launch day dashed. With the results of Switch 2 pre-sale lottery coming out today, it seems that people will rush to Japan's My Store, forcing the site offline for maintenance. Scammers also took advantage by sending out fake lottery results. Japanese users warned others and sharing screenshots and fraudulent emails, identifying several variations of scam. The subject line announcing, "You have won Switch 2 lottery," had many Nintendo fans jumping for joy. The example emails either demanded that the user click on the Line Message app link or pay the money today via a suspicious link URL, and urged the user to act now or secure the code in a new console. It seems the phishing attempts ranged from the more obvious emoji-reeled fakes to these more sophisticated attempts with smaller errors like misspellings of Nintendo and email addresses and non-Japanese URLs. The official warning from Japanese Nintendo support account states, quote, "Although we plan to send out the lottery results emails for today, April 24th, we have not sent them yet. Please be aware that such emails that you have received up to now were not sent by Nintendo." End quote. Damn. The US, an update on release day was published, warning those who registered their interest in buying Switch 2 from my Nintendo Store that it could not guarantee delivery by June 5th release date. That's me. As a result, invitation emails may arrive after Switch 2 comes out. Hoping Nintendo said it will confirm your shipping date upon purchase. Nintendo is not saying you'll have a better chance of getting a Switch 2 launched by pre-ordering at a third-party reseller. Exchanging suggestions given Switch 2 has already sold out following pre-orders going live overnight. Struggling fans have had to pre-order Switch 2 on April 24th, coupled with this warning. Oh, now they want to fucking like shovel shit out to GameStops, even though they closed like a shitload of them down. The struggle had to pre-order Switch 2 on April 24th, coupled with this warning from Nintendo, suggests that a next-gen console will be very hard to buy, at least in around launch. Sheesh. First batch will go out on May 8th, starting from Nintendo 8th, measured by 9% periodically, purchasing Nintendo stores open to everybody. Invitation and emails will be first come, first serve. It will be sent to mid-priority, cherry-tier, and invitees will have 72 hours from time with an email sent to you guys. Woo. Okay. All right. Well, what does that tell us? Aside from Lo-Fi Girl having a good time. Is this because we talked about her last time? Based. Well, so let me get this one around. More people are buying online. And Nintendo was obviously not ready to distribute that many numbers. But by forcibly pushing retailers away, would they had been able to deliver that many products if they had the retailers to ship them to, or is it just a concern of that there's too many orders that the production can't finish the shipments? Because again, this is all Nintendo, man. They've been pushing for the digital age, and now we're here. So now that you need somebody to sell your physical hardware, is that what's going on? What a guy. All right. Hey, we're not done yet. Nintendo seeks subpoena for Discord for Pokemon Leaker info. This is by Rafael Antonio Pineda. Hey, there he is, over at Anime News Network. Yeah. Polygon reported on Monday that Nintendo requested the United States District Court for the Northern District of California to issue a subpoena for compelled Discord to show information on the ledger who released almost a terabyte data from Nintendo's subsidiary and Pokemon game developer Game Freak last October. Nintendo subpoenaed a subpoena request called Terra Leak on Thursday. That was all one sentence. Game Freak last October. Nintendo submitted a subpoena request on the so-called Terra Leak on Thursday. Nintendo's request indicated the redacted screenshots from a Discord server named Freak Leak. The shots show a leaker who went by Game Freak Out, allegedly posting the leaked data on the server. Nintendo requesting the leaker's name, address, phone number, and email address from Discord. Hey man, fuck you. The Terra Leak led to names of the company email addresses of 2606 current and former Game Freak employees, and contract workers being leaked. It also allegedly included information upon upcoming projects and assets from past games. The leaks reportedly include information of unannounced Pokemon games for both Switch and its planned successor, a separate unannounced Pokemon game co-developed for another studio, assets on used graphics on the music of the Pokemon games, and for Nintendo DS, a planned live-action Pokemon Netflix show. Whoa. Planned sequel to the 2019 live-action Detective Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds. Game Freak is best known for development of main Pokemon series games, so it all started with Pokemon Red and Blue, 1996. Great year. The company most recently developed Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon video games, debuted in November 2022. Game Freak recently developed Pokemon Legends of game for Switch, planned late 2025. Wow. Okay, so the biggest part, I guess, a Pokemon Netflix show, live action. Wow, look at that. Co-developed another studio, assets of unused graphics and music from past Pokemon games. Cool. So there's that. Why leak things? I don't know. I guess I just want to know what's going on, but alright, man. In a more digital universe, that's just gonna be more of a normal thing, is it not? I think we're gonna have to start hiring people to actually just man firewalls 24/7. But that seems like a good time. But we never said it was an overtime. Woo! Because one last Pokemon story. Pokemon is about to make so much money on life-size evolution plushies. Oh, it's the whole set? No way. Let's go. This is by Kenneth Shepard over at Kotaku. Due to some questionable picks, the Pokemon Company life-size plush line has been often the subject of meme fodder. The helpful Lucario plush is here to steer your wife by doing chores you'll neglect. The Porygon is big enough to be a piece of furniture. And, well, what do you need a life-size Gardevoir plush for? But sometimes choices make perfect sense. The next life-size Pokemon plushies won't be just one of these critters. It will be 9. All 9 evolutions to be exact. Eevee is one of the most popular Pokemon in the series. Part of what makes the little fox-like creature so beloved is that it can evolve into one of 8 for now, forms based on different energies. Each one has a different favorite evolution, and there are a lot of fans who love the line so much that they'll buy all the merchandise in the set. Well, those sickos better be ready to pay a pretty penny for life-size evolution plushies. At the moment, the 9 plushies will only be announced for sale on Japanese Pokemon Center website. These do tend to make their way overseas shortly after. According to PokeShopper, Japanese sell for Eevee, Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon runs until May 19th. The V plush, which is much smaller than its evolutions, costs $38, roughly $27, while the larger fully evolved plushes are around $306. That means collecting the whole range will cost you almost $2,500. Click the gallery to see all of them in life-size glory. Sheesh. Plushies are now on sale in the US Pokemon Center store, and they're a whopping $400. Good luck to your wallets. All because of the tariffs. These enormous plushies are part of the Pokemon Company's evolution. Designed bringing up some Mega Evolution, returning to Hall's Fairy Show. There you go. Let's go. Vaporeon. Jolteon. Cute. Electric. Flareon. So burn your couch down, kid. Vaporeon. Jolteon. Oh, the first three of... Yeah, that's right. First three evolutions. I'm excited. That's kind of cool. Umbreon. That's the fairy type. No, that's fairy type. What's this one? Ghost. Okay. So that's that. If you're interested, there's your lineup. Alrighty, let's talk about some fun Fortnite news. Ariana Grande and Travis Scott Fortnite concerts at the heart of the potential lawsuit headed to trial. The lawsuit is headed for a jury trial in May. Nicole Carpenter and a senior... Oh, sorry. This is by Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon. Yay. Epic Games has been fighting over a crypto and metaverse company called Utherverse over patent infringement since 2021. Utherverse filed a lawsuit in June 2021 saying that Epic Games infringed on several of its patents related to people hanging out in big virtual worlds with its Fortnite concert series, specifically Ariana Grande and Travis Scott's respective in-game performances. This is stupid. In January 2022, Epic Games filed a counterclaim where it says it had not only not infringed on Utherverse patents, but that several patents are invalid. Now, the two sides are headed for jury trial set to begin on May 12th, with the Grande and Scott digital performances at the heart of it all. The two parties have been going back and forth in legal filings and meetings for years, narrowing the lawsuits down to one patent that describes technology used in, quote, playing back an experience in virtual world systems. For the original complaint, this includes letting people replay something that happened in a virtual world, like a concert or a wedding. Utherverse, for its part, is self-described as the world's best 3D social network, where virtual events and activities, like weddings, are held. It's got its own cryptocurrency that it's used in the virtual world. In the lawsuit, Epic Games has been arguing that Grande and Scott's performances were created ahead of the concerts in Fortnite, so they aren't recordings of a prior experience that occurred in a virtual environment, per a document filed Monday. Fortnite has been adding more than Battle Royale video game for years now. It's a space for people to hang out. Part of that experience is concerts. Epic Games broke Fortnite player records in 2020 when Scott held an in-game concert that 27 million people showed up for. Grande headlined the next big Fortnite concert in 2021. Both events were huge, technical spectacles for Fortnite to users to participate in. Scott's performances began with an explosion that transformed to a larger-than-life version of Scott, as Fortnite players in all their colorful, unique glory danced at his feet. Fortnite players were transported into different locations as the concert continued, even heading underwater to swim around Scott as he performed. Grande's concert took place in space to the clouds to float around Grande in bubbles. Naturally, there were plenty of space to emote too. Concerts were replayed several times, each over a course of a few days. The Fortnite concert series, regardless of performer, has been a huge success for the game, which has continued to expand outward in its live events, but it's the Travis Scott and Ariana Grande concerts that the Utherverse is especially calling out. Utherverse wants Epic Games to pay 50% of the revenue earned from those two concerts. That information isn't public, but a Forbes report from November 2020 suggested Scott grossed $20 million, including merchandise sales from the Fortnite concert event. The jury trial set for May 12th is expected to run from 4 to 5 days. Polygon has reached out to both Utherverse and Epic Games for comment. Wow. Goku. Hit the grittiest Goku. Alright, well, that's dumb. It just sounds like a random ass company who nobody's ever heard of and is complaining and wants people to hear about them. But the question becomes, is it really worth losing like that much? Because I don't see a universe where this wedding venue people get to sue Fortnite for being Fortnite. I just don't see it. And it's Epic. They got money. So they're about to get smacked down really, really hard. And at the end of it, all I have to really say is, was it worth it? Because I don't know if I'll remember this name a week from now. But if I do, maybe it was worth it. And that's the name of the game. But you know what else is worth it? Your mom. I'm just kidding. All right, no, it's great because she gave birth to you. So yes, 1,000%. Claire Obscure Excision 33 passes metaphor. ReFantasio's 85,000 player Steam peak is now in the same league as its heavyweight JRPG inspirations. This is by Khan Serin over at Game Radar Plus. Sandfall Interactive, developer behind the new turn-based game Claire Obscure, was very outspoken about how the team was overly influenced by several classic JRPGs, including multiple Final Fantasies and Alice's Persona series. The game's now proven to be such a breakout hit that even it's surprising some of the genre heavyweights that inspired it. At the time of writing, Claire Obscure Obsession 33 managed to court over 87,000 current players onto Steam, and we're counting. We're still early in the weekend, so expect that to grow a little bit. According to Steam DB, it's a great result for the original series from a brand new developer, no less in a subgenre that was considered stagnant a few console generations ago. To put that into context, though Expedition 33 now has a higher concurrent peak than every one developer Alice's games on the platform, nearly doubling Persona 3's Reload's 45 peak, and more notably since it's not a remake, narrowly passing Metaphor Fantasio's 85,961 peak. That's some impressive company to keep keeping so early in the developer's life span. Did I mention Claire Obscure's it's his first game? It must be nice to be in the same league as the heavyweights that inspired you. What's especially notable is that Sandfall Interactive pulls it off while launching in the shadow of Oblivion's remastered stealth drop while releasing on Game Pass day one, but the developer managed to sell over 500,000 copies within a single day regardless. And there's your tips. Okay, that's intense and awesome and very cool. Again, I think we're making a lot of noise for this game because A, it's the quote-unquote, it's the first game they're trying to like get out there. B, it's very inspired by Persona and JRPGs. C, it is a Western, right? Like it has like Western English-ish narrative. So that's something more that hits more home almost, I guess. And I'm just excited. I've mentioned earlier in the week that I felt like this recent couple of years of games have been really like not inspired. So seeing this thing kind of drop really makes me feel positive about what we're doing here and what we can still do, and that there's still opportunities and hope for things like this to show up, rock the scene, and go fuck you, Microsoft, that's a remake. But you know what I mean? Like regardless, you know, it's still pretty cool. And if you really want to argue at that point too, it basically spits in the face of Microsoft saying that all you really need is free games if we follow the Netflix service. And what did the consumers fucking tell you? Netflix, you fucking pay attention? That if there is heart, that if this game was inspired by some of the best, then it had something to live up to. And that team of 30 people, 30 fucking people that worked on this one game, busted their ass and made it happen. So ladies and gentlemen, that is what I'm talking about when I talk about passion. Let's go. I had it somewhere around here. Yeah. Passione, minasan. Passione. But that is gonna be the end of the week. Just want to end on a lighter note. Yes, I'm looking forward to playing this. We are gonna be playing this. I don't want to excite myself too much, but it's already too late for that. But I'm so looking forward to it, and I hope that it hits what I need it to hit, because I'm worried that like that games are losing their heart, their spirit, their ambition. If this thing came in crashing and it freaking destroyed a fucking Oblivion's remake, then yeah, that's hope to me. That sends a positive message, and I hope we keep on going in that direction. So, looking forward to greener pastures and funner times. But can you believe it? それは終わりだ. That's the end. Man, I'm tired. I haven't eaten. I woke up late. I've not been nice to the nightlife, so I need to go recover. But believe we still got one more left in this. So let's go ahead and tell the homie soon bye. Hola. What's up? And we say, hey, let's be chill. Slow it down. I need to go fix this. If I have time, I would like to go out and about. I need to drive all the way to basically Anaheim so I can freaking get this thing fixed. I don't know if they fix them, but I broke this day one, so I need to get a new stick and I need to get batteries because it's out of batteries. And I'd really like to hear the little sound again. Por favor. So, ladies and gentlemen, while the strokes are getting funky back there, let's get emotional. All right. I don't know if this is gonna work out. I remember not being good at this when we started, but you're here, we're there. Saigo no. Anybody find me someone to love? I think this is Offset. So I've been trying to get the track down. This is gonna be weird. I'm gonna do it. I get up, I die a little, can barely stand on my feet. I can look in the mirror, and Lord, what are you doing to me? I have to spend all my belief in you. I just can't get no relief. Oh, somebody, can anybody find me someone to love? I work hard every day of my life. I turn to an ache in my bones at the end of the day. Whoa. I get down and then my starts to pray. Those tears run down my eyes. Oh, somebody, can anybody find me someone to love? He works hard every time, and I try, but everybody wants to put me down. They say I'm going crazy. They say I've got a lot of water in my brain. I got no common sense, got nobody left to believe. Yeah. Oh, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to? Got no rhythm, I feel no rhythm, just keep losing my beat. I'm okay, I'm alright. There's no one to feed. I just gotta get out of this prison cell. Someday I'm gonna be free, lost. Find somebody to love, find me somebody to love, find me somebody to love, find somebody to find somebody to love, find me somebody to love, find me somebody to love, find somebody to love, find me somebody to love, somebody find me, find me somebody to love. Anybody into love, love, find me. Wow, I think Freddie Mercury would be disappointed. But at the end of the day, he kinda. So, the full moon is out. It happens to the best of us. And tonight, the piano man, Billy Joel. Ciao. Thank you for watching. Take care. Have fun out there. Stay safe. And if all fails, hug each other. But until then.